Most people think that vinyl plank flooring and laminate are the same thing, but they're wrong. Those are very different materials, and you need to know which one to use not to destroy your flooring. Aloha. The most common question that I've been asked by people that visit our store is, what's the difference between vinyl plank flooring and laminate flooring? After this material, both of them are installed. Even for me, as a person who's been in business for over 10 years and is an active importer bringing both options, it's very hard to tell after it's being installed, because modern materials, they look really, really nice. The only way for me to tell apart is to have the plank in hand or see a cut like this. Then, of course, I can tell the difference, which one is which. So let's start from how those materials are similar. So first of all, both materials, and vinyl and laminate, are fully artificial made. This means that they don't have like real wood in it or real stone in them. All those materials are artificially made by people. And second, both materials are trying to mimic real wood or real stone or any other real life material. So for example, behind me I have over here hardwood. So both those products and vinyl and laminate are trying to mimic real hardwood. Next, for both materials, the top layer, so the visual part, is printed on a high resolution commercial grade printer. Again, first factories scan the real wood and then they print it in order to mimic the real thing, even though the material costs much less compared to real engineered hardwood. In the process of installation, both materials are going to require installation of moisture barrier in order to protect those materials from moisture pressure that can be created coming from concrete and destroy the flooring. And also, from my experience, both materials are going to require acclimation based on the installation manual, which makes them similar in those things that I've just mentioned. Now let's talk about things that separates apart those materials. So first of all, vinyl, it's easier to damage vinyl with a sharp object, like a nail, for example, or like a sharp knife. So if the object is sharp, and you can easier damage vinyl than laminate. However, if we're dropping a heavy object, it's much easier to damage laminate than vinyl. So as you can see, even though both materials are pretty durable, they all have their weak spots. Now let's talk about the planks itself and thickness. So vinyl generally is thinner than laminate because vinyl is made from plastic, and plastic is heavier and denser, especially if we're talking about the SPC, where laminate is made from wood particles that are mixed with different chemicals. Now let's talk about thickness. Laminate in general is thicker than vinyl plank flooring. So laminate normally is going to start from 8 millimeter and go to 12, 14, sometimes even more millimeters, where vinyl normally starts at 3, 4 and goes up to 6, 7, 8 if we're talking about the SPC. WPC can go higher. But because vinyl is denser and heavier, they make it thinner, where laminate is going to be lighter, so they make it thick in order so it can withstand more pressure and damage. When it comes down to installation, vinyl plank flooring can be cut with a regular knife, so you score it and then you break it. Where laminate, in order to cut it, even the thinnest one can be cut with a laminate cutter, but if we go like to the 14 millimeter, you definitely need a table saw or like a meter saw, so some kind of saw in order to cut it. And when we come to installation, at least when I do the installation, for the vinyl, I would charge less than I would charge for the laminate, because again, this I can cut with the laminate cutter or a knife, which I can do at the same place where I'm installing the material. To where laminate, I need to have a saw. So this means I'm going to take a plank, I'm going to draw a line, I'm going to go to the saw, I'm going to cut it, I'm going to go back. So, and also this creates a lot of dust when you cut it. Like any wood product, when you cut it, creates a lot of dust. Where vinyl, if I'm cutting with a knife, there's going to be no dust or a laminate cutter. Now let's talk where it's better to install each of those materials. If installation is done properly, you can install each of those materials in every room of your house, as long as you follow the installation manual. However, based on my experience, I would install laminate flooring because it's lighter, because it's thicker, on the second floor where you have wooden subfloor, because wooden subfloor tends to kind of flex a little bit, especially in the older houses, so thicker planks are harder to unlock over time. And also because the planks are lighter, so there is less pressure on the second floor compared to vinyl, which is heavier, just create more pressure and bend the subfloor of the second floor a little bit harder. To where vinyl, I always recommend install in a high moisture area. For example, like a basement, laundry room, kitchens, bathroom, etc. It doesn't mean that the vinyl does not require moisture barrier, because when concrete gives away moisture, this is a different kind of pressure damage. So basically, concrete gives away moisture and it creates pressure and it physically breaks the planks. However, if you take this sample and throw it in the bucket of water and leave it there and take it out, like let's say 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, nothing's gonna happen with it. It doesn't absorb moisture. However, this material, if you throw it into the bucket of water, it's gonna have some swelling, even the waterproof versions, because laminates contains wood particles, and wood particles, they absorb moisture. So they react differently to water. If you're looking for something that's more humid proof, vinyl is gonna be better, at least based on my experience. Now let's talk how to select. Let's say you're already here in the store and you're like, I didn't know what to select. Let's assume that vinyl and laminate, they cost the same. So in reality, my position is very simple. If you take the best material that exists in the world and you give it to the worst installer, like your installation is going to look terrible, right? However, if you take the worst material in the world and you're going to give to the best installer, even though it's the worst material, it's still going to be okay. So the idea is, if the installation is done properly, both materials can be installed throughout the house. So how to select knowing this information and assuming you're not buying the worst material ever? First of all, I recommend to touch the material. Touch it with your hand, walk on it with the barefoot in order to get a feeling, because they feel differently. Yes, they look very similar, but most materials, they feel differently. So vinyl feels a little bit plasticky. That's at least what I hear from people that touch it, to where laminate has a more, like a little bit different feel. I cannot say like woody, but definitely different because it's full artificial. So make sure you touch it, make sure you like how it feels. Second, take a look on the texture. So like if you look against the sun on the sample, you're gonna see a texture of the plank. Make sure you like the texture. Some people prefer less texture, so it's easier to clean. Some people prefer heavier texture in order to get a feeling like it's a real wood, because real wood is going to have like real nice texture to it. And most importantly, look on the color. Make sure you like the color. That's why we have samples that you can take home, put them next to your furniture, next to your walls. We have those bigger sample boards. We have flooring installed on the floor, so you can kind of see how it's going to look and visualize it, how it's going to be in your home. Because as I mentioned before, after the flooring is installed and it's installed properly and you have any issues with the flooring, you're not going to know whether you're working on laminate or vinyl just by looking at it. However, what you're going to feel is how it feels when you walk on it, when you touch it, when you lay down in it. You're going to know the difference by the color, whether it matches your furniture, your walls, other things that you have in home or not. So let's summarize everything up. Vinyl and laminate, they made a long way, and right now they both look amazing. They both try to mimic real wood, and the material itself is easy to work with, quick to install, and if installed properly, it can last for a very, very long time. Most importantly, for you as a user, as a homeowner, as a person who's going to be living with this material, to make sure you like the texture, you like how it feels, you like the color, and of course finding the right installer to do the installation so he doesn't make a mess of your flooring. If you're installing on the second floor, I recommend using laminates because it's lighter, because it's thicker, to where if you're putting flooring in the basement, laundry, kitchen, bathroom, I recommend to put vinyl because it deals better with moisture. It doesn't care about water or moisture at all. However, both material require moisture barrier. Both material require acclimation, so make sure to keep that part in mind. Price-wise, they're approximately in the same price range where it starts somewhere like at $2 and goes up to $6, $7. Of course, there are premium brands that can go up to $10, $12, but most people, like 90% of sales, are going to happen in the 2 to 6 range, at least based on my experience. Again, if you're hiring a contractor, get quotes from multiple contractors in order to compare prices. You can even get 2 quotes from each contractor just to compare the price to install vinyl and laminate. In my case, I would charge more for the laminate because it just requires a little bit more work, especially with the dust and cutting and saws and everything, to where vinyl I would install a little bit cheaper. However, if you're in Hawaii and you need flooring, or you need the flooring to be installed, I invite you to Best Flooring Honolulu. That's where we are right now. We're on Oahu. We have 2 stores, one by the airport, one in Waipio. We keep everything in stock on Oahu, what you see behind me, and there is more on that side. Stop by, get a sample. If you're on the other island, text us, call us, send us an email. We ship samples to other islands. Select what you like, and we will help you to select the flooring that you're gonna love and that's gonna last for a long time. Have a wonderful day. Mahalo.